This latest spill of oil in the San Francisco Bay brought back some really horrific memories. You'd probably call them nightmares. Back in 1971, they had an enormous spill in San Francisco Bay when two Standard Oil tankers collided. I think it spilled about 840 or 50,000 gallons of oil. There was really no state-of-the-art technique for cleaning oiled birds back in those days. In fact, there was no state or any kind of art at all. I was cured of the Lindsay Wildlife Museum at the time, and we were a part of City Wilmot Creek, and they had this little white house next to the museum, and we literally stripped out the dining room and living room to make room for cages to hold 100 plus oil birds that we received. We got scoters, grebes, loons, murres, birds I'd never even heard of before came in, and I couldn't even tell what they were because they were all gooey black with oil. The state-of-the-art in cleaning birds back then was to use the lighter mineral oil to coat the birds. It would remove the heavier crude oil that was on the birds, and then the mineral oil was easier to wash off. Of course, we've come a long way since those days. But back then, Standard Oil was paranoid because of their ships having caused this problem, so I got a knock at the door one day, answered the door, and it was a truck driver who had a semi-truck load full of 50-gallon drums of mineral oil. It's enough to probably float their tankers. Anyway, these days we have an organization called International Bird Rescue Research Center in Cordelia with state-of-the-art technology in caring for birds with this kind of problem. We've really come a long way since then. Jay Holcomb, who's director of bird rescue, and I sort of worked together to clean oil birds back in 1971. I worked in that little white house where we literally had stripped it out, as I said, and we had these little rabbit cages, and we had these different kinds of bird in there, and every time I wake up in the morning, my hand would be under my face, and all I could smell was bird feces and oil, and for months I couldn't get that smell out of my head. But back then, I worked in the little white house, Jay worked in a warehouse in Richmond, and now today we've got top state-of-the-art technology to do that. Now all we need is a way to keep people from dumping oil in San Francisco Bay. That would be perfect. Thank you.